Shalom, everybody. This is Dave, your host of Kabbalah 101. This is, you could argue and say, well, is this really Kabbalah? Well, it is. And you see what I mean. It is. It's what we learn to do. Okay. It's a discipline that we are actively participating in. Okay. So here's the thing. Let me give you an example first. Back in April, I knew that I was going to have to start accumulating wood for the wood stove. Our furnace went last winter. Yes, in the winter, the furnace went. And it was a ridiculous amount of money to replace. Ridiculous amount of money. I'm like, this is not worth it. I don't want to do this. This is way too much money. So we came up with alternative methods to chickens. I don't know if you hear them or not, but I had to come up with an alternative way to heat the house. We worked it out. Yes, sometimes it got down into the 50 degrees. We didn't complain. We did what we had to do. No problem. We didn't have the money. We like to pay cash on a barrelhead type of a situation. I don't like having debts. So anyway, come on, birds. So probably arguing where they're going to lay their eggs. So we had to come up with some ways to do that, but I didn't have wood. So I said, okay, well, next spring, we're going to have to start accumulating wood. And you would say, oh, geez, you got a big project ahead of you. And obviously, yes, it is a big project. So I sat back during the winter, and as the spring came, I said, okay, time to get the chainsaws out. And I had a bunch of dead trees on my property that I had to cut down. And so we did that. My sons and I, we went out, we cut some of the trees down, we sliced them up, and then we took them and split them. Now, we don't have a splitter here. At my family cabin, we have a splitter, but we don't have a splitter here. And I wasn't going to go all the way there and pick it up. It's a 5.5 hour trip. So we did it by hand. We have a long handled, like a pipe handle with a triangular wedge on it, where you put on the wood, you take a sledgehammer, you break it. Well, you know, we're boys, we're men. We're like, okay, how do we make this fun? So my son says, I know what I'm going to do. So I'm doing it by hand. And see what, and he learned exactly how to split wood. He understands by looking at the grain, and he says, okay, I can cut this way, and even if there's knots in it, he said, okay, I can avoid that now if I do this. One whack, 15, 18, 20 inch wide, 100-pound, 16-inch long pieces of log. Yeah, split in two. Constantly did it. And if it didn't split right away, because maybe a little wet or whatever, because sometimes the oaks are hard to cut, he would create a cutting line. And once he created a cutting line, then he would go in between and split it. He loved it. Well, we spent 6 weeks doing that. Every day doing a little. And then I would pick up the wood one piece at a time. Where I cut the tree, I'd pick up one log at a time, and I would carry it to the splitting area, and then I'd take the split wood one piece at a time to stack it. I did not circumvent it. I had, like, I don't know, thousands of steps a day, bending over and building up my muscles and building up my flexibility. Nice strong back, the whole works. I'm 69 years old. I'm sorry, 59 years old. I'm 59 years old. I'm doing this. And so we got it all working. Well, 6 weeks later, we did because we had to get rid of a lot of dead wood that was already fallen. We did like 12, 13 cords of wood by hand. Well, yeah, we used a chainsaw to cut the logs, but that was it. We did it over a 6 week period. Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because we expect to change ourselves just a little bit at a time. Don't go to 7-Eleven and think, oh, I get my quick fix and overnight I'm going to be transformed. No, 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 no. You start little and you keep going. And then all of a sudden, in this case, 6 weeks later, we look back and say, holy moly. We cut down all these trees. We cut up all these trees that were already on the ground. We helped our neighbors and we got all this wood that's probably going to be good for 3 years for us. At least 2, possibly 3 years. And we also have a seasoning pile as well that we're letting it season, dry out and stuff before we do our final cuts and splits. That's where we're at. 6 weeks. So when we learn Kabbalah and we learn the discipline Kabbalah and we learn the teachings of Kabbalah, we try to transform ourselves little by little by little. This also does one other thing. Not only does it give us patience upon ourselves, but it also helps us to understand and have patience on others, because as we try to change a little at a time, the people that we share with also are going to change a little at a time. So we have to be patient. I hope this helps. Take care, everybody. Shalom, shalom.